Professional traders spend years and years and years learning how to do this correctly. And unfortunately, guys, that's the only way to do it. And you've heard me say it before, think about your own industry, what it is that you do professionally, and how long it took you to become good at what you do. Did you start out as an apprentice? Did you go to law school or medical school? What's your background? But think about it, and think about how long it took you before you really felt like, I know what's going on here. I'm in charge. I'm now a leader in my industry. For those of you who built businesses, think about how long it took you to build that business up, to get it to a point where it was profitable and you felt like you kind of had a handle on things. Yet for some reason, people think just because they have an ample supply of money that they ought to be good traders. And it's just not the case. It takes the same discipline and education and time in order to be proficient and successful at this. And so don't get caught into the myth that is perpetrated by so many in the foreign exchange industry that says, oh no, it's easy. Make money while you sleep. Never work again. Work from home. All of these type of things, they're great, but they're fear and greed-based emotional reactions. What we're trying to do is eliminate that from the process. We want to, as much as we can, eliminate that emotional baggage that plagues us as traders. And that's a constant work in progress. And it takes a lot of time to rebuild those bad habits. 60 to 90 days, guys. That's why this program is 90 days long. It takes that long to start breaking bad habits. You have to hear me talk about this over and over and over again before it starts to seep into your subconscious. Euro, Japanese yen now long. And once it starts to seep into your subconscious, you'll know. I used to say, when my mentor used to talk with me about this stuff, I used to hear it when I was sleeping. That's how I knew I really was getting it, was that I was hearing his voice talking in his sleep, in my sleep. And so I understand the process that you're going through. Yeah, Rick's saying 4 to 5 years to reach journeyman plumber level to see the big picture. And that's exactly right. It doesn't matter what your industry is, guys. It does not matter. Everybody. Like I said, I'm a military man. After I got out of the military, I worked. I ran my own company, security consulting. I still learn. In that industry, you're always learning. You're always growing. There's always new technology. There's always new tactics and different new thought processes that are out there. And in your industry is the same way. But what I'm saying is that as you start to go through this process, your eyes are going to begin to be opened to what we're really talking about here, and one day the light bulb's going to click, and you're going to say, I get it now. I understand now what Jason is talking about, and I can see now how to be successful. I may not be successful yet, but I can see how to get there. And when I'm making mistakes, I see that I'm making those mistakes. And guys, that is that move. I talk about the 4 stages of traders. Unconscious incompetence. I don't know what I don't know. I'm a pretty good trader. Are you making money? Well, no. I know what's going on. I can read these markets like the back of my hand. Why? Because you've made 2 or 3 good trades? Unconscious incompetence. Then we move to conscious incompetence. I know I don't know what I'm doing. This usually happens after we lose quite a bit of money in the markets, after we take a string of pretty bad losses, and we start to recognize, hey, I'm really not the magic man I thought I was. And so then we move from conscious incompetence to conscious competence. I can see what I need to do, and I'm beginning to execute and make those decisions accordingly, and I'm starting to see some results. I still have to work at it. I'm not there to where it's, it's second nature, but I can see the path. And then last but not least, ultimately where we want you to be is unconscious competence. I just do it. You ever heard somebody talk about your job? You're like, talk about their job or something that they're good at, and you say, man, how do you do it? How is it that you're able to do these things? And the gal will say, well, I just do it. I have people ask me that all the time on the Fibonacci stuff. They're like, how do you see that? I just see it. Why'd you use that swing high? Well, because that's the swing high. Well, but how do you know? Well, I just know. And that can be frustrating for them at times, but the honest truth, guys, is that I do. I just know. I've looked at thousands and thousands and thousands of charts. I've taken hundreds of trades. I just know. Unconscious competence. And I promise you guys, if you do the right things, if you take the right steps, you're going to be successful.